I'm super excited to introduce my newest video series, and really excited because Diana gets to be the very first person. So this is called Agent Showcase. The whole point about this is to show you the expansive reach that not only myself, but the agents I work with, like Diana, have locally in their market, but actually across the country, because a lot of times people are moving. And so this would be a great opportunity for you to get to know Diana, her business, her background, and kind of what makes her tick, why she loves what she's doing. So without further ado, let me introduce you. I'm curious, how did you first get into real estate? There's always an interesting story behind that.
Yeah, well, I'm a total customer service kid. So I've worked everywhere from food service to hotels, coffee shops, retail. And when I was in my 20s, I was working at a coffee shop, and a property management company owner approached me and asked me to be an on-site property manager. So that was kind of how I got into like this sort of customer service. I did that for 15 years. And on site, I did lease ups in Houston. I did boutique properties in Portland. And after I had done that, I had my son, and I wanted to go ahead and move forward with my real estate license. So I got my license just after the pandemic in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area.
So one of the cool things about you that you bring to that's great value to your clients is more than one market. And unlike me from California, now in Texas, different parts, like I don't know if Houston, like southern Texas, I guess.
Yeah.
That market, Dallas, which is different than Dallas.
Yeah.
The Portland market where my family's from, and now you're in Central Oregon. What area does that kind of cover?
So most people, when they hear about Central Oregon, or when they're talking about Central Oregon, they hear about Bend, Oregon, which is the most famous city, I guess, nearby. I live about 20 miles north of Bend in a town called Redmond. And Redmond is 38,000 people. And just to compare, Bend is 110,000 people. Okay. So you can move all over, just like coming from DFW, you drive all over, and driving in Texas is just part of the deal. And so moving here, everything's within 30 minutes to an hour from you in Redmond. And so that's where I mostly focus, is in my town.
Okay. Yeah. But easy to that's like me in San Marcos, Texas. You're going to Austin, you're going to San Antonio. I see that very commonly, that realtors are traveling that kind of distance. I'm curious, of your customer service jobs, which one, obviously the coffee shop is where you got introduced, but which one do you think gave you the most experience that you can pull from now as a realtor?
I guess some of the training I had working at the information desk at Pioneer Place. I worked there for a little while. I also worked at an athletic club, the River Place Athletic Club. It shut down probably 20 years ago now, but I worked there, and it just kind of helped me learn how to talk to people and how to help people without, kind of sounding condescending, like being more an ally rather than somebody who knows everything or doesn't know anything. And it helped me learn how to talk to people that were out of my tax bracket, like the people that were wealthier than I was, and communicate in a way that made sense for both of us. So probably those front desk jobs.
So now you've been a realtor total for how many years?
I got my license in the middle of 2022, so I'm going on my third year.
Okay. What was the aha moment when you knew this is the career for you?
Well, at first it was really scary and frustrating, and I didn't really know how to find clients. I didn't know what to do. And so I started farming my neighborhood, and someone reached out to me and said, "We want you to sell our house." And I said, "Okay." So I went ahead and I listed the house, and it was very familiar to the marketing and the presentation that you do when leasing apartments. So, you have your online ad, you tour the home, you do the photos, the staging, stuff like that to get the buyers or the renters interested. And then, so that prep beforehand just felt really natural for me. And I was like, well, if this is it, I got this, because I've been doing this for 15 years.
Yeah. Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And were you at Real Broker the whole time?
Nope. No, I jumped around a little bit. I did a couple of the bigger brick and mortars. I started at Keller Williams and was there for probably 30 days. And it just wasn't giving me what I needed. So I switched over to Century 21 Judge Fight, which is a big franchise in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I stayed with them for a really long time. They have a really great onboarding program and mentorship. And the office that I was at in Frisco was just such a great family vibe that I just loved it. I loved it so much. And then I met somebody who introduced me to Coldwell Banker Corporate. So it wasn't a franchise, it was the corporate brand. And I really liked working at Coldwell Banker. But when we decided to move to Oregon, paying Coldwell Banker twice didn't make sense for me because I wasn't going to have any active income. So I was with Tom Ferry at the time, and it seemed like everybody at Tom Ferry was with Real, but nobody was talking about it. And it was like, what is this brokerage? I don't understand what you guys are all switching to it, but nobody's saying what the deal is. And so I called up Shannon Mangan out of Austin, and I said, hey man, like, what's going on? And she showed me the slide deck and explained to me all of the great opportunities that Real presents. Even though it's a virtual brokerage, it's still very much a community brokerage. And so I started with them, switched my Texas license over while I was getting my Oregon license, and just kind of got acquainted with everything, did a bunch of referrals and stuff like that. So I've been with Real since August of 24. So just over a year.
Okay. Now that you've been there a decent amount of time, what is the top? What's the one thing you love most about Real Broker?
I kind of like the casualness about it. Everybody's just real people. There's not a lot of stuffy people. And with it being virtual, you actually don't have that kind of the chance to be at the office with people who might be stuffy. And so you do end up kind of being brought together with people who are like you and like-minded. So it's kind of that, I mean, it's real. It's like real people. We're living real lives. We're doing real business. So that's probably been my favorite part about it.
Yeah. I mean, if Tamir was going to ever rename the brokerage, I guess you could call it like Authentic Broker LLC or Genuine Broker LLC. Because you're right. That's a very good point. Like it's everyone's just kind of like who they are, you know. You go to the conference, for example, and like you have some people that are dressed up real nice. They're real luxury. They hit that market. You have some people that are in t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops because they're from Hawaii or like, you know, Florida. And then everyone in the middle. And then, you know, every fourth person has real branded sneakers, Nikes. Yeah, that's funny. How would you describe your brand in one sentence?
My brand, I would say, is I'm approachable, I'm knowledgeable, I'm a little bit silly, and I like to kind of keep things real. So I'm very upfront, I'm direct. I guess that would be the ways to describe it.
I want to make sure before I forget, I'll put it up later on again, but yes, you are, and your videos you put out are great on social media. So if you're watching this right now, make sure you follow her on Facebook and on Instagram. Easy to find, sold in Central Oregon. That's good. So what core values guide you when you're serving your clients?
I really like to focus on transparency, honesty, and integrity. I want clients to know that I'm serving them and not chasing a paycheck. And the relationship to me matters more than the transaction. So I don't want people to feel like, oh, I'm just doing this because it's my job. I'm naturally, you can see it in the history of my life, I'm a service-oriented person. I just like helping people. So it just makes sense that, you know, I I want to be able to serve them, and I genuinely like my clients and usually end up being friends with them.
Yeah, I think that is clients. I don't say clients. The people we help can tell. They can sense the difference between that honest approach of like, listen, I'll tell you. Like for me, same example. I'm not going to try to like convince someone to go with me if they're buying a brand new, construction home, because generally speaking, it's 90% of the time that builder is going to give incentives or something. And so I think that honesty, people will sense that you're not there just for them to make that commission, that sale. And that's how you get, past clients. You get referrals from them. You get, them reaching out a couple years later, saying, hey, we've outgrown our house. We need to buy something else. We need to downsize. So yeah. What you said, like, clients are compatible and you're the fun, silly type. What kind of types of clients do you specialize in? Do you notice that your business is more geared towards first-time home buyers or the military or seniors looking to downsize? Or
it's hard to say. So with me being in my third year of real estate, and my first full year was my most full year so far. I mean, that's redundant, but and I had all kinds. I had divorce clients. I had people who were older that wanted to downsize. I had first-time home buyers. I had investors who sold an investment property and then needed to 1031 exchange. I mean, it was like that first year was like I got to taste every single different kind of person there was. I love working with the older generation. I just think they're kind of like me. There's no BS. It's easy to communicate with them. They're not going to hide what they want or what they don't like. The first-time home buyers are exciting because you get to be with them and help them through every step of the way. The investments is also exciting, watching somebody grow their portfolio and helping them do that, and like knowing all the little ins and outs and the people to call and what to look for and things like that. So I don't know if I've narrowed it down yet, but I have, I generally attract really analytical people, just as a sense. So a lot of engineers, a lot of people who like numbers and charts like me, and that just in all different types of buyers, that's generally the type of person that I attract.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What type of, I don't say tech tools, but what do you end up besides your cell phone? What's like your daily tech tool that you're going to now that you're using?
I use I use my phone a lot. So that is a big tech tool for me. I have a tripod, which I got, and I learned later that it wasn't the coolest tripod, but it's working. It's doing a great job. I have a little microphone, that I use. I do a lot of work on my phone. I use the Edits app for almost all of my videos. It's really quick and easy. I've tried other ones like CapCut and, other ones that are on the Microsoft platform that is just like, that Edits is so easy to upload and get all your things done. And then I'm on the computer a lot. I have a paid subscription to ChatGPT, and we talk about everything. I mean, everything from my sourdough to my Facebook groups to my deals that I'm working in or communication, trying to polish that. So I guess, all of those things is kind of what I use on a daily basis.
Have you used Reels Maxis marketing yet?
No. I saw that they rolled it out at Rise and I missed their onboarding. It kind of reminds me of what Coldwell Banker and Century 21 and those Anywhere brands has a similar studio sort of thing. Lofty does too. I do a lot of my stuff in Canva, which I think a lot of people do, but I haven't really poked around with Max so much.
All right. What do you use? Because it sounds like you are a little analytical and charts and stuff. What do you use to stay organized on a daily basis? Because I'm all over the place sometimes.
Yeah, I am on my fourth work diary. And so this is very analog, but I keep track. I take this everywhere. And it has to have the rubber band. It has to have the bookmark strings. It has to have all that. And it's a literal diary. So I'll write the date. It keeps my to-do list. And then I can go back in time. Like if I talk to a client, I can go back and see, okay, Bob Ross, he wants to sell 123 Banana Street, and I've got all of the stats for that house. It's easy to go back and see how long it's been. I've talked to somebody. So this is probably, it's just record keeping, but it is fun to like go back and see when things happened or how long it took for this to turn or something like that. But yeah, my work diary.
Are you still in coaching?
I am not. When we moved here, it was really hard to like make that payment make sense when my income was basically zero. So I'm in a pause.
When you're starting on a new market. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll ask the question that I always get, how are interest rates affecting the market right now? And like, let's be optimistic. Let's say like, what was the challenge 6 months ago? And do you see a change? Do you see any improvement now or on the horizon?
I do see a change. Part of it is because since moving here, I'm growing my sphere of influence. So I am meeting more and more people and I'm getting more of those conversations. But I can tell you that my buyers right now aren't even talking to me about interest rates. It's not a concern of theirs. I feel like once we got up to 7 and then we started creeping back down, people were like, this is just how it is now. And they're just using that to factor their monthly payment instead of it being like a barrier for them. They're like, okay, with this interest rate, it makes it this much a month. And that's, so that's how I'm going to figure out how much of a house I can buy. Not, I'm just going to wait for them to come down. Because I'm not hearing that at all. As far as my clients go, they're not talking about interest rates.
Yeah. What is the barrier? What is the hot topic for clients?
A lot of it's price. A lot of the feedback that I get is that the homes on the market right now are overpriced, and a lot of them are. In Redmond alone, last month, we had 35% of the listings had price reductions. Wow. So like almost half of the houses started too high and they're creeping their way down. And that is, the buyers are being a lot more reserved with what they're going to take a leap on because they're like, well, that's too much. It is with the interest rates and that house price, their payment is easily twice as much as what the current owner is probably paying per month. So it's a hard pill for them small. So I would say like price is their biggest barrier.
Where do you see the market going in the next 6 to 12 months?
That's also hard. My market, I feel like it's going to grow just because I'm seeing more activity. Even right now in the beginning of the year, I'm getting more questions. I'm getting more links to houses that people want to talk about. I have clients asking me, is it okay if I go to this open house? So I feel like people are just going to be moving a little bit more. There was some hesitation last year, but then also for me last year, it was like a growing year. So I didn't have a lot of business, just growing my business here. But now that I have like a client base, it seems like they are moving and grooving. I think we're going to be all right.
In Redmond, is there a commuter market? Like, are people buying in Redmond, working in Redmond, or are they buying in Redmond and working in Bend or something?
Yeah. Yeah, we are. I would say Redmond has a lot of the service workers that work in Bend. So if you're going back and forth to Bend, definitely, it's nothing like Texas traffic. Let me tell you that. It is it's like normal. It's like 10 o'clock traffic in Texas is like our rush hour here. So it's not that bad, but it is more congested starting at about 3 o'clock. You see all the people that are leaving the swing shifts, heading back up to Redmond or Prineville or the other smaller towns up here. It is definitely that. And then also a retiree. A lot of people retire here. We are a resort town, even though we don't have Eagle Crest Resort is our resort in Redmond, and it has a lot of second home owners and retirees.
Okay. What types of content are you putting out right now, and what's your favorite platform like to engage clients on and do social posts?
Yeah, so I'm putting out faceless content right now. I do kind of a little bit of everything, but most of what I do is I go on. So in Redmond, our town is so small that every week all of the realtors in Redmond that want to, they're all invited, come together for a meeting, and we go through all of the listings that they want us to go on a tour.
Hmm.
And in Texas, we were all so big that it would be like one office tour. So like
Yeah.
our Keller Williams office tour and all of the Keller Williams listings, we would go see all that. Well, this is like everybody.
Hmm.
So it's really fun to see what the other agents in town are listing, how they're presenting, stuff like that. So I'll go every single week and I get shots from all these houses and put them up on the internet. I put it everywhere. So I go on Meta and I do Facebook and Instagram, and these don't perform as well, but they do increase my reach, I guess my local reach on Facebook. TikTok has been the most interactive. I've gotten more leads on TikTok. It's the same handle, sold in Central Oregon.
Hmm.
More interaction on TikTok than I've ever gotten anywhere else. And then I also post them into YouTube Shorts. And so I have a YouTube channel, same handle, sold in Central Oregon. And my YouTube and my TikTok both have the same demographic. It's both men between 25 and 65, which is just like random to me. But they are both really interactive. So I'll get a lot of comments. I had somebody private message me on TikTok the other day and said, "Hi, can you add me to your email list?" And then I've had buyer leads from there, from my land listing, my land that my buyers bought in La Pine. I got a lot of interest on those videos. So I would say TikTok is definitely by far the most interactive and the easiest to get people to talk to you, which is just bonkers to me.
Yeah. I watched a video, it was training, Rev B, and also she did another training on Monday. Lacey.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. I was there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what gave me the idea to sit here, because this is where I sit for my YouTube videos. I was like, I should sit in the same spot like Lacey said.
Yeah. I think I need a pair of nice glasses. Going back and trying to find what she does in TikTok, and just, I mean, so many followers, so much business. I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars in business. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. I don't know what I want to get better at TikTok this year. Instagram, I think, is my better performing one, but long form content, I think most people are gonna be watching this probably on YouTube. Okay, so I'm curious. Can you share a story from like one of your favorite videos that maybe went viral, or at least hit home strongly with some clients?
Yeah. So my videos that get the most amount of interaction or views is usually like this. This is what, let's say $400,000 gets you in Redmond, Oregon. And I did one that was a $1 million house. It was in Odin Falls Ranch, and it has almost 80,000 views on TikTok, which is just like, what the heck? And this house was wild. It actually just went pending. I saw, I get a market update every Monday, and I was like, oh my God, it's pending. But it was just over $1 million, and it was right on the canyon. But inside, whoever had done the interior decorating had put this like tree. It was a tree that was the fireplace. So like at the bottom of the tree trunk was the fireplace, and then it branched up to the inside of this house. It was totally wild. It was really, really cool. So that one got a bunch of views. I mean, almost 80,000 views. And that would probably, be, I guess, the most viral. And then like what people like the best is like, this is what this much gets you. And there's so much anger, like, it's overpriced, this is so much money, that all of so and so's from this state ruining everything. And it's like, but haters make you famous, so go on.
I'm curious if you go back to that post now and put in the comments that it's now pending, and like guess what it's selling for, if it would get more people to start engaging and like throwing out there what it might have sold for.
Yeah, I've thought about doing that. Like either like commenting or like doing another video. I don't know. Like it does need a follow on now that it's finally under contract.
Yeah. What's one of the habits you set up to make yourself most successful?
I am a routine queen. I eat the exact same breakfast every day. I am like, I get up at the same time. I do the same thing when I wake up. So in my weekly routines, I have the same thing. I go to the same exercise classes or like that MLS meeting I go to every Wednesday. So I try to keep things in a schedule that is easy for me to maintain. I do all of my like either personal or business growth in the morning, and then I do all my meetings in the afternoon. And so it kind of gives me a while to like either get my workout in or do whatever I need to do to prep for the meeting in the morning. So really just like keeping to that same routine every week is probably what keeps me sane.
Wow. So someone that actually does like time blocking.
Yes, I am. And somebody in my first year, I had a mentor at Century 21, Heather Baker. She's in the DFW area and she's amazing. She was talking to her on the phone. I had a little kid and I was like, what do I do? How do I do this? I've never, owned a business before. And she says, you need to time block. And I was like, what? And she goes, yeah, you need to figure out what time you do everything. And I can't remember who I think it was Jim Fight that was like reverse engineer it. So just live your life and write down what you normally do. And then like, just keep doing that. Like, as long as you keep doing what you normally do, you'll be fine. But if you try to like create new things or like force new habits in, it's a lot harder to maintain that sort of schedule.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, I've always struggled with time blocking, like shiny penny squirrel. So
Yeah.
Maybe starting out with what I do,
Yes.
that's routine, then you can filter in other stuff that we'll see that might help. What's the best lesson you've learned in real estate so far?
You can't fake this and last very long. If you're not genuine, if you're not honest, if you're not truthful, eventually it will catch up with you and you will lose favor.
What would you tell your past self, Diana, 3 years ago today? Like if you were just getting in today to real estate, what would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself to post every single day. That I didn't start posting every single day until the RevB end of year challenge. I was kind of inconsistent about it. And they did a video a day for 45 days. And I started the week after Rise. I just started doing it because someone at Rise had said, video a day. And I was like, all right, I could do this. And so I started and I am still doing a video a day. And it built the habit for me to get out there, because it's just keeping you top of mind with everybody who's in your sphere, and you're like, and even I got a message the other day on Facebook that was like, you've posted enough that we're actually going to start like telling people on Meta about you. We're going to suggest people follow you on Meta. So posting consistently, and I do it at the same time. I do the same kind of videos. I mean, it's all very, I'm not really doing anything creative. But being consistent at my posting, I would say do that.
So if you're watching or listening and you're like, what is RevB? It's the Real Estate Video Blueprint. They have a conference every year. This year's in Nashville. I'd love to go. And it's basically the two main people, Tim Macy and Katie Day, really like started this. And it's such a good, it's not just Real Broker agents. No. They happen to be, but like it is a community of realtors across all kinds of real estate brokerages, really trying to encourage each other. The other great person in the real estate industry and space for video is Neil Dingray.
Yes.
The Ford event, I've been to it in Vegas. Another one that is, if you're getting into the business and you're looking to spend money wisely, look for those two groups to might be like something that's affordable.
Right. And Rev B, the weekly masterminds are free. So you can get information every single week for free. It's a 1 hour like Zoom call, and they have those guests, like you were saying, Lacey, on Monday. And each week they go over something new. There's a chat where you can talk. I mean, it's a Facebook page too. So you can it's very much a community, but it's free to participate. The conference does cost money, just like any other conference, but yeah, it's super cool. I'm really glad that we were introduced to it.
Yeah. What's the toughest challenge you faced recently, and how'd you overcome it?
My toughest challenge is changing my market right when I started to gain momentum. So with where we were in Texas, our neighborhood had 18,000 people. And I was on the HOA board. I was on a Facebook admin team. I ran a gift basket exchange. A lot of people knew who I was, and that just opened the door for me to get clients. So all my clients in the beginning came from that neighborhood. And it's because when we moved there, the pandemic hit. So all we had was the internet. We only had the internet to talk to each other. So it was really kind of simple to build that sphere of influence. And we really wanted to move back to Oregon. It was important to us that we came back, but we had never lived in Redmond. We'd lived in Portland. We're from Portland. And so we moved to Redmond, and coming here, it was really intimidating. There's 38,000 people. So it's about twice the size of the neighborhood. And I'm like, I can do this. But it was still really intimidating to come in, not knowing anybody, not having a brokerage to visit and see people. Going from brick and mortar brokerage to virtual brokerage and a new market was a tough move for me. It was hard to stay engaged. It was, just hard to be productive because you just don't see it. You're not rubbing elbows with everybody. The MLS meetings here helped me. And then just keep doing what I was doing. So I built a community here, the Sisterhood of Redmond, Oregon, and it's almost 1,700 people now.
Wow.
All women. We have book clubs, we have meetups, we have social happy hours, we have all kinds of things. And that's helped me a bunch. And then just knowing that if I put in the work, that it would come. This is not a get rich quick. This is a long game, building your sphere of influence in a new community, meeting new people, making new friends, losing new friends, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, just trusting the process is really how I got through it.
Trusting the process. You know what works. You just have to repeat it in a different market.
Yeah.
What is the favorite part of your job?
Oh, I love the friend part. I just love hanging out with people. So, when you get a buyer, you get to talk to them almost every day. I mean, they want to show you everything. You get to chat with them, and then you get to go hang out with them and look at houses, and you get these little inside jokes. And so it's just fun to make new friends. I think that's probably my favorite part of the whole thing, is just meeting people who are excited and have really high vibe and good energy and want to make big choices and big decisions, and letting me help them do that.
Yeah. What's one of your biggest pet peeves?
Oh, let's see. I don't really like snooty agents. What is your problem? Can you just chill out? I'm super silly. I'm always making jokes. I think there's humor in almost anything. And so being around people who are really stuffy is hard for me. I don't, I'll clam up, or I won't say anything because my jokes don't hit right or whatever. So I guess just quit taking yourself so dang seriously.
One piece of advice for new agents.
New agents, I would say, this is easier said than done, but get your standard operating procedures lined out. Use ChatGPT. Say, I'm a new agent and I want to have what is the standard operating procedure for when I have a new buyer client, and then have them bullet it out so that you can almost have a checklist. Checklists are really important. There's great books about checklists, a checklist manifesto, things like that you can read about and learn the importance of a checklist. But getting checklists and things like that that'll help you move through the process. Also, templates and canned emails. I set up all of my smart plans on Lofty one day. I just sat down, me and chat were like, okay, what are all my smart plans that I have? And so when after my buyer consultation, okay, start that. And then it starts emailing them and things like that, where you can automate so that when you do get a client, you're not like all over the place, you seem organized, and then that's scalable. So when you have more than one client, you can just say, okay, I've done that checklist. Okay, I can move them onto this smart plan. So organize, because you're not going to have anything to do for a little while. Like you're just not. So organizing yourself, getting your business organized and your communication streamlined is probably one of the first things. Your templates and your forms, software, like stuff like that. Like that's what I would do.
Yeah. On some level, get some type of CRM, because
yes, use your CRM.
You're going to need it. What is the one thing you wish every buyer knew when starting their home search?
That pre-approval is important. Like I know you like that house or that property or whatever, but for me, taking time to drive you around without the guarantee that you can actually buy that is a waste of my time. And that sounds harsh, but like you need to know before you start shopping for homes how much home you can afford. And talking to a lender is not as scary as it sounds. They're not going to harass you. They're not going to bother you. They're just going to process your application and tell you how much you can afford, and then they're going to help you. And if you need to do things, they'll help you. So that is something every buyer should do first. Is you can talk to an agent, but go to a lender and talk to them too. Multiple lenders, like try them on. Like they're all going to be a little bit different, and you're going to find one that you like, and you will work with them, and they'll help you. And so the lender is an important part of the buying process.
It is. I've had to give a few people the bad news of, like, they went out looking at homes. They saw something on Zillow, got an appointment, saw the home, fell in love, want to write an offer, and like now they're being asked, "Hey, get pre-approved."
Yeah.
And just the weird nuances. It's not just credit scores and credit, but it's using, like, for the wife, we could use her income, but we couldn't use his. Because he had just changed careers from W-2 to self-employed. So it was like, so yes, that is probably the same thing most realtors would love, because the reality too is if you don't know what you're capable of buying, you might be missing out on, you might be looking at 2 or 3 bedroom homes, and you might be able to get a 4-bedroom, or you might be able to get that 3rd bathroom. So like, don't limit yourself before you know it. What are some mistakes you see new agents making now that you're in the business for years? What are some things that you see?
I see a lot of people trying to shortcut their way to getting business by paying for leads. And I have yet to find a lead program. I did a couple when we first moved here, because I was like, I gotta, get back to work, and how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna find these people? And so I paid for a couple lead gen services, and it was just crap. Like it was, you're wasting your money, hundreds of dollars a month for basically busy work to make cold calls. And people do that. People do cold call. I'm not a cold caller, but paying for the leads instead of organically growing your sphere of influence is something that I want to just like caution new agents on, because you don't have any income. And while maybe that one deal, you get that one client and it'll pay for this or whatever, like I can see the gamble, but really growing in your community and growing, like going out and doing what you naturally like doing. If you like cycling, go cycling and meet people cycling. And then eventually they'll learn that you're a realtor and you can get clients that way, or yoga or whatever. Like growing organically is probably what I would recommend doing, rather than forking out a bunch of money to pay for leads that a lot of them are just dead ends.
Yeah. If you're getting into the business, if you're thinking about becoming a realtor, anything like that, and you're in Oregon, I would just continue to, I'll push it again. There's her social media. Reach out to her. she'd probably tell you what worked, what doesn't work, and that way you're not wasting money, before you get into it. What's next for you this year? Like, we just started, so what do you see if it's December 31st? What happened to Diana this year?
Yeah, I did a really fun like exercise where you write a thank you affirmation. Basically, I can't remember if Tom Ferry put it out, or they always tell you do that. So I did that, and I say it to myself at least once or twice a week. I'll read it. But one of the things I really want to do this year is help 12 people with their real estate transactions or their real estate goals. It's not a super big goal. It's not really very flashy, but I think it's realistic for where I am and growing here in Redmond. And I'm already on track to do that. I had a closing last week with some bare land down in La Pine. I have another couple people that are popping up, a listing coming on. So I think that it's working. That, that future talk, that future appreciation is definitely underrated and something people should look into.
That's one thing I'll say. All the years I was in Tom Ferry coaching, mindset matters.
Yes.
Mindset in this business, because it can kick you in the shins, as we'll say. But if you have that right mindset, it will matter. This will always be a fun question. What is one real estate horror story? Whether you experienced it or you saw, is there anything you're like, wow, this is something that taught me a lesson?
Yeah. Well, my very first buyer was a first-time home buyer, and she was a server. So she had variable income, and she had been living in a Section 8 home, and she had 3 children, and she was trying to buy her very first home, and I wanted to help her real bad. She lived in my neighborhood, so she was going to move. She ended up buying this really cool old house in Ennis, Texas, which is south of Dallas. And it's a small little town. And this house is over 100 years old, but it was so cool. Like, we both were like, this house is so cool. And so I hooked her up with a bunch of lenders, and we had in our contract, we had given her, I think, 21 days to secure lending. And she took every single one of those days. It was so stressful. She started out with a big box bank, and this big box bank lady guaranteed her she was going to get it done. But she didn't. She did not get it done. She even told her we were good. And then a few days later, the buyer got a letter saying, we're not good anymore. Oh, wow. And so we were like, what are we going to do? And then the people selling the house were 1031. So there was we couldn't extend or anything like that. So I'm like, you need to get a lender. You need to get it. She's like, I'm still shopping. And she was shopping up until the 11th hour. It was so stressful. And what we ended up doing was the listing agent officed with a mortgage lender, and that lady helped us, and she closed it in 11 days. It was unbelievable. How she pulled it off. I don't know lender magic. That's something that I'm not privy to, but it was wow, we really waited until the very last second. And she kept changing. I mean, she changed from the big bank. She changed 2 more times in that 21 days. And then she finally locked in with that last lender. The lady closed it in 11 days. But that was a lesson for me, that it was you don't mess around. And in Oregon, you can't do that. Yeah, you can't do that. You have to ask permission to change your lender, and you need to have a lender in the beginning. So that's kind of nice for this, but for the state. But yeah, it was crazy.
In Washington, it's the same thing. I think you can't swap out without the seller, approving it.
Yeah.
I have one right now. She's a server. I would say 99% of her income comes from tips. And of course, the cash tips aren't always what she's being W-2'd on every year. So
yeah,
I was just swinging by the restaurant today to pick up the owner's business ledger, because I need his ledger plus her W-2s plus her bank statements to show them. But it can be done. Yeah. You had a client, you had someone that tips. I got one right now, but the good news, to prevent the horror story, we're getting her underwritten up front. So I'm getting all this documentation. I'm having an underwriter review the whole file before she goes out shopping. That way we don't have that issue of like, oh, I found the home, I'm in escrow, and now we don't qualify. We're going to get that rubber stamp that she does qualify, does qualify first. So I'm going to make sure we put it up one more time in case you're watching this. Here is your contact information, so you can email, you can text. This is the social media. Give her a follow. If you're a realtor watching this from another state, reach out, because obviously now you know what market she is in. I have one last question. What is one final piece of wisdom for our audience?
That wasn't part of our questions. Oh, what's this word back? Can you hear that? I guess consistency. Be consistent. Stay positive. Use affirmations. Gratitude affirmations are very powerful. Manifestations are very powerful. I know this is like very woo-woo, but like it works. That stuff works. Mindset is important, and your network is your net worth. So put yourself around people who are growing, who have positive outlooks, and who are doing what you want to do or already have what you want, and that will help you grow into what you're trying to be.
Yeah. You know what I love about your one final piece of wisdom is you actually live it every day. Some people have like wisdom and this is what you should do, but they're not practicing it themselves, but you do. Like, you have a great mindset and energy and silliness around it. You have some great consistent scheduling, of your routine, and everything from your calendar to your social media, and it's paying off. So I want to thank you so much for coming on and being our first agent showcase. So if you're looking to buy anywhere in the Bend, honestly, I would say all of Oregon, because to be honest, you're from Portland. So if you're not obviously servicing Portland, but great friends of yours that are realtors there. So if you're looking to move in or out of Oregon, reach out to Diana. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.